We're just beyond the west entrance of Valley of Fire State Park in Nevada, and today our goal is the old Arrowhead Trail, 6.8 miles, and at the end of this trail there's a trail called the Elephant Rock Loop, which actually has a rock that looks like an elephant. So we're going to take that loop at the end of this trail, and then possibly we'll take one other trail, either Charlie's Spring Trail or Natural Bridges Trail, or Natural Arches Trail, actually. And we'll just see how much energy we have left at the end of that. This is going to be close to a 20-mile day. And if we take Charlie's Spring Trail, it could be 24 miles, which is just 2 miles shy of a marathon. So we'll see what kind of energy we have by the time we've done the old Arrowhead Trail. Here's a 360-degree view where we are. It's sunrise, third Saturday in January 2020. And here we go. Okay, we're just a little bit into this trail. Let's take a quick 360-degree view. We're looking at the rocks that are behind the Beehives formation. So if you were behind those hills that you see when you're at the Beehives formation near the beginning of the just beyond the west entrance of the park, you would be looking at this. And there's the beautiful red rock formations, and then looking up the hill, we're looking at the mountains that surround Valley of Fire State Park. By the way, this is a pretty good trail. It's marked well so far, and so let's continue on. Let's take another 360-degree view. We are at a high point, by the way, and I believe we're looking east toward the Overton arm of Lake Mead. So here we go. Here are the beautiful red rock formations at the beginning of Valley of Fire State Park. And then you see the higher mountains in the background. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, let's take another quick 360-degree view. Here is where we're headed. And here is very beautiful rock formation. Very intricate. And then there you see a formation that looks very much like the Beehives, with the layers of silt piled up over the years. Then we're taking a look west. You see the sunrise there, or at least the evidence of sun, because actually the sun is at the opposite direction. And there we're looking straight into the rising sun coming over those mountains very soon. And then down to what I think is the Overton arm of Lake Mead. And then back to where we began. Okay, continuing on. Here's an interesting spot. Now we're beginning to skirt a wash. we're continuing on. Here is the trail. It's going to dip down and then rise up again. The trail's been pretty well marked. There were a few spots at the beginning where I had to slow down and check to make sure I was on track, where there were a number of washes that converged, small washes that looked like a trail. But otherwise, no problems maintaining this trail and maintaining my my direction along the trail. Okay, here are the hills at the edge of Valley of Fire State Park. There's the rising sun. And we're going to apparently skirt this wash and continue on the other side. I think we're pretty much moving along the edge of these border mountains, and descending. I think we've descended 200 or 300 feet at this point. So we'll see. Definitely, if you want to start downhill and end up going uphill, which usually I like to do the opposite, then you take the trailhead that I took. If you want to go uphill first and then downhill, you start around the Elephant Loop area and then head toward the west entrance of the park. Okay, onward. Here's a flag hanging just pretty much in the middle of nowhere, but it looks like a huge trail marker at the other side of that little wash that I just descended into and then ascended the other side to let you know, hey, this is the trail. So that's a nice little marker. Quick 360-degree view. Here are those border mountains. The rising sun. And then the direction we are headed. By the way, let's look at those red rocks again. Beautiful red rock formations all around. It's amazing how Valley of Fire has these red rock formations in the park itself, but all around the park, it's the brown hills. And so it's like Valley of Fire State Park is an island of those red rock formations. And actually at one time, during the time of the dinosaurs, a couple, 20 to 200 million years ago, 150 to 200 million years ago, all the red rock formations that we see were sand dunes, and they froze, and iron leached up from the ground and turned them red. So that's how we have this island of beautiful red rock in Valley of Fire State Park. Okay, onward. Okay, we're continuing along the old Arrowhead Trail. You got to watch it carefully because there are a few spots where the only thing that keeps you on track is just looking very carefully and seeing faint signs that people have passed. But then there are also markers along the way to let you know that you made the right decision. Here's a marker right in the center there. And we've got an idea of perspective here based on where we've been so far. And looking right up this divide between the red and the brown rock, you'll remember the Prospect Trail. And we went through that gap there between the two formations. And then a little further, you see a brown hill here. This, I believe, is the hill formation that we circled when we did the Pinnacles Loop Trail. And then here is looking back where we just came from, up the old Arrowhead Trail. And believe me, if this looks like a trail to you, it's not really well marked in places, so you almost need to have a perspective of, here's the red rock and there's the brown border of the park, the brown hills, and you're going to, on the way back, go right between the edge of that red rock and circle around the other side, stay along the edge of the brown hills. So it really helps around here to know where you are, because trails can disappear, and we're in January, and this is fine. I have the ability to wander around and get lost. Now, if it were 115 degrees in the summer and I was running out of water, that'd be a whole different situation. So you want to know where you are, especially if you're going to do this in the summer. Okay, here we go. The landmark comes into view. Right up here is the Valley of Fire State Park Visitor Center, which means that Balancing Rock is right there, just to the left of the Visitor Center. And this canyon that you see is the Mouse's Tank Scenic Drive that goes to the Mouse's Tank Trail and the Rainbow Vista Trail, Fire Wave Trail, or Loop, Silica Domes, and White Domes Loop. So there's a little perspective. And then just to the left of this red mountain formation, and you see between that and the brown hill, that is the Prospect Trail that goes between those two. Prospect Trail goes north-south through much of the length of Valley of Fire State Park, and this old Arrowhead Trail goes west to east, the direction we're going. So anyway, that gives you an idea of perspective where we are, and now we're continuing onward. And here you can actually see the Scenic Drive, the Mouse Tank Scenic Drive, right there, just to the left of the Visitor Center. There's the Visitor Center. And then right through this canyon, there's the Scenic Drive. Well, I get the feeling this is a very old unpaved road. You can see the double tracks here. That was probably here before the Visitor Center and the main Scenic Drive. And by the way, there's the Visitor Center. And here is the Mouse's Tank Scenic Drive. And let's give the rest of the 360-degree view. We came from between the red rocks in the center and the brown mountain border of Valley of Fire State Park. And we at first skirted those brown hills, and now we are moving more toward this red rock that is at the base of the visitor center. Or the visitor center's at the base of the red rock, actually. And looks like we are going to eventually skirt this line of red rocks up ahead. And at the end of it, perhaps the Mouse's Tank Trail. We will see. And by the way, looking at trail surface, there is surface that you cannot avoid going on stuff like this, which is with my trail running shoes as opposed to boots. It can be a little bit gruesome. And then some of the trail surface is more like this, which is beautiful running surface. So the trail varies. You don't usually see all these surfaces together. There are even surfaces of this trail that are more like this. So, variety of surfaces we've encountered so far. Nothing in terms of sand. Pretty solid, but fluctuating between rocky and smooth. Okay, onward. Here's a change in the land. Looks like we are going to go down into a canyon and weave through that canyon, and that red rock formation on the other side of the canyon, I'm going to take a wild guess that that may be the Elephant Rock Loop, but not sure. Up to now, it's been a pretty flat trail, a very gradual decline. In fact, I think we've lost around 800 feet elevation by now, which means that we're going to be uphill all the way back. And you can see the decent trail signs. Just let you know you're still on track, but there are a few places between those signs that you just have to watch very carefully. So here we go down in the canyon. I think the surface is going to get more and more rocky as we go, but we'll find out. Rock, sand, whatever, we'll see. Well, warning, you're only in that canyon wash for a couple hundred feet, and then the trail splits off and goes uphill. You could almost miss it and keep merrily going down this canyon wash when the trail is actually ascends above the wash and continues on toward the red rocks there. Okay, we just crossed the canyon wash once again. Don't ever get lulled into heading down that canyon wash. There's, the last time, yeah, you did head down for about 200 or 300 feet, but you can see this time we just cross, and be watching for the little signs. Here's one right in the center there on the other side of the wash, and here's one on this side of the wash. When you get down to the wash, just look around to make sure that the trail doesn't ascend out of the wash again and you miss it and you're heading down that wash, because you'll be off trail. Okay, onward we go. Do a 360-degree view. This is looking forward, the direction we're going, and continuing downhill. I think we've lost about 1,000 feet since we began. And then 360-degree view, you can see there is a kind of string of red rock that's to our left as we go forward, and to the right as we return. And so this trail, as it keeps appearing and disappearing, well, I know that on the way back I head around I head along this red rock hill system, and call it frozen dinosaur dunes. And and then wind around a little bit to the left to go up and down through some washes and continue on to the starting point, the trailhead where we began. So here you go, onward. Okay, I lost sight of anything that looks like a trail some time ago. All I can say is now I'm in a wash heading toward those red rocks, and there's the line of red rocks that we can see over here that I'll trace my way back eventually. Here's the wash going uphill, and let's see if the trail reappears before too long. If not, I'm just going to head toward those red rocks, and we're going to see what we can find down there. Okay, onward. Okay, I think I'm totally off track now. So what I'm going to do is head over toward these hills here and begin to circle around, see if I can find the main drive, which will get me back on track. And I imagine Elephant Rock Loop is somewhere in this area. So sorry for all you who wanted to see the whole length of the Arrowhead Trail. As you can see, I lost it some time ago. I headed down this wash. I don't want to keep going down the wash and end up in Overton, so I'm going to head over into these hills in this direction and circle around them and get to a high point and see if I can see the main Scenic Drive. And I know there's a horse stable somewhere around here too. So here we go. Well, maybe this is Elephant Rock number 2. Anyway, now I'm in the hills, and we're just going to navigate around these hills and see where we come out. And of course, there, for perspective, now that we're a little higher, is the mountain borderline of Valley of Fire Park. And on the way back, we just need to head right around the edge, the left edge of this red rock system, and then navigate back to our starting point. So there is our perspective for today. And now let's just see if we can pick our way through this red rock area and come out somewhere high enough that we can see the main road. Okay, onward. Well, I don't know where I am, but this is sure beautiful. I've left the wash below, and that'll be my way back. But I want to get to a high point, see if I can look around and see the main Scenic Drive, hopefully on the other side of these hills. Okay, onward. Continuing on in this Martian landscape, I like to find high points as much as possible, give me a perspective where I am. And looking in this direction, this is the border of the park, and I know I came between that red rock system and the mountain system at the border, or the ridge system. So there's a little more perspective. And then this is what we're looking at here. So I know there's a trail somewhere called Charlie's Spring Trail, and that would actually head up into the hills, the Brown Hills, at some point. I don't see anything that looks like a trail just yet from here, so it may be a little further down. We just don't know. But we're going to continue over the top of these rocks and see what we can see when we hit the high point in the horizon. Okay, onward. Now that I'm at a higher point, I'm going to take a wild guess that maybe I overshot my goal here, because I'm not even seeing the Scenic Drive, but I know that the Scenic Drive is going to be in this direction at the base of those red rocks. And of course, you see the red rocks to the left, and then they go right up to the brown border of the park. That is the way out, and I can even see a road up there. So I need to go to the left of those red rocks to head back, and I'd find the old Arrowhead Trail somewhere before I hit those red rocks. Okay, and here we are in the Martian landscape. What I'm going to do, and there up ahead could be the Overton arm of Lake Mead. Yeah, I'm thinking that is the Overton arm of Lake Mead, because it continues on up to the right of that place we looked at just a moment ago. So I am going to angle over in this direction, and we're going to see if we can find the Valley Fire Scenic Drive, because I do want to find that Elephant Rock Loop, and it's got to be somewhere up ahead in this direction. So we're heading in this direction. Here we go. Well, I guess this has turned into a deep exploration day. So we left the old Arrowhead Trail some time ago, and I think I overshot it, wandering through all these red rocks and heading in a direction up in this direction that should arrive at the Scenic Drive. Anyway, and looking around, let's get a good 360, and down in the area straight ahead, I believe, is the area where the Overton arm of Lake Mead is. And we don't know for sure, do we? Okay, we'll find out. But definitely a beautiful, beautiful area in here. And very peaceful, untouched, because nobody comes here except me. Okay, onward. Still wandering around in the red rocks, these dinosaur red rocks, frozen sand dunes, and I see the Scenic Drive again, and over here, let's see if we can zero in. In this direction right down here, looks like a parking area. Now, that's got to be Elephant Rock Loop. If it is, then I really overshot my goal. So it's good I started around back. But anyway, I'm going to head down in that area, and then let's see. Okay, just a minute. There we go. Get a bigger perspective. I'm going to head down to that area, and of course there's the border of Valley of Fire Park, and there's the direction I came from. So we're going to go down in this area and see what we can find, see what this little parking area is down there, and either it's the area for natural arches, trailhead, or Elephant Rock Loop. Who knows? We'll find out. In the other direction, I do believe this has got to be the Overton arm of Lake Mead. Look how large this is. I don't think there's a body of water that is this long and large. And it just continues on. So anyway, it's good I didn't keep on going down that that wash, because I may have been heading for Lake Mead. So who knows? We'll put it all together in a bit. Okay, now I've emerged onto a little trail. Quite an echo here in this canyon. Could this be Elephant Rock Loop? We don't know. We'll find out. There was a parking area that this is heading toward. And so we'll continue on this little trail, see where it leads. Here we go. As an alternative, we could say maybe it's Natural Arches Trail. There are a lot of these arch formations on this trail. So we're going to find out when we get to the trailhead and see where we actually are. But you can see the rock formations here are pretty amazing, as we've come to expect in this park. Actually, I have no idea where I am. I just know I'm heading toward the highway and a turn-off parking area. We'll see what that is for. Okay, onward. Well, maybe it's good I didn't continue on. I don't know. But the Arrowhead Trail apparently goes all the way to Salt Lake City. I definitely wasn't going to go that far. I still do not believe that I got to the end of the Arrowhead Trail, but we'll look around and find out. But here we are on the Scenic Drive, and there's a trailhead on the other side of the road. We'll see what that is. Okay, and here's the canyon we came down at the base of those brown mountains that are the border mountains to the park. Now you can see where the old Arrowhead Trail, 6.8 miles to go uphill this time, where it begins, and the sign just to the left that has pointers in two directions there, that points to Elephant Rock Loop. Continues, the loop goes this way and this way, and so we are at the edge of the Elephant Rock Loop and heading on to the old Arrowhead Trail. It must need to cross that highway there, and then we'll see if we can locate it. This will be the we'll find the spot where we got off course and make that clear, hopefully. Okay, onward. Well, I don't see any clear way to get to the Arrowhead Trail, but I do know where I'm headed, so I'm just going to go cross country until I find something that looks like a trail and then take it back. There's a 360-degree view again. Elephant Rock Loop rock system there in the center. By the way, the cross down there is a memorial to John C. Clark, or John J. Clark, who was in the Civil War, originally from Canada. He fought in the Civil War and then came to this spot and was riding his wagon through the valley. He hitched his horse to the wagon, started looking around trying to find a way out, and eventually what happened is he died there. and they found him a few days later. So that's the memorial for John J. Clark. Okay, onward. Actually, the signs are guiding me along this side of the Scenic Drive, and I see that it crosses right at this point, and there are signs pointing to the Arrowhead Trail, so we're going to go for it. Okay, here we are back at the wash. Now, I missed this little sign when I was coming down the wash, and I continued on down a long way. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can keep to the trail on the way back, but no guarantees here. If I miss one of these little signs and I don't look up at the right moment, we will lose the trail again. But I know the basic perspective and landmarks along the way back. So even if we go off trail, we'll find our way back. Okay, continuing on the old Arrowhead Trail. And by the way, let's take a look at what this would have looked like when we were down in the wash. See, if I had looked up as I was going down the wash and I'd seen that sign there, it's just another quarter mile to Elephant Rock Loop, and that would have saved me probably an hour and a half of wandering around the hills, but that was a good wandering, good exploration. So here we go. Let's see if we can not miss the exit from this wash. Here we go. Here's the exact spot where I went off track. I was glancing down at this cow pie, wondering where is the cow that did that? And what I should have done instead was look right over here to find the trail marker leading me across the wash and then through that canyon on the other side, and I would have been right at Elephant Rock Loop. Instead, I was fixating on going down the wash and looking at those hills down there, thinking, oh, that's Elephant Rock Loop. No, it wasn't. That was way beyond Elephant Rock Loop. I probably went maybe three or more miles out of my way. Lost a couple hours. Anyway, now we're back on track, and we're heading back on the old Arrowhead Trail to the trailhead where we began. Onward. Well, even though it's between 800 and 1,000 foot climb, heading back, making a beeline now for the opening between the red rock and the brown mountain border of the park, Valley of Fire Park, Nevada. And I guess just the lack of having to get lost and find my way around, and also not taking so many videos is definitely speeding this whole return trip up quite a bit. There's the visitor center. So we must be somewhere at the halfway point, and there is the Mouse Tank Scenic Drive. So continuing on up now to the left of those red rocks, and then circling around and hitting our starting point. Okay, taking a look back, we're almost at the beast where we started, the trailhead, and looking down toward the east, this is the direction we took today on the old Arrowhead Trail, all the way down the park. And here is a 360-degree view. Our point of origin, right over in this area where the beast is parked. I think that's right in the center. So that's our trailhead. There's the west entrance of the park. So just to give you a perspective. And then the mountains along the border. I saw a flock of bighorn sheep running up these mountains. A little earlier, they were too far in the distance to get a good picture. So just have to remember. They were running. Okay, and so now we head back to our point of origin. We're back at the west trailhead for Old Arrowhead Trail. And in all, we've probably covered about between 17 and 18 miles, given the time we got off track and went an extra 2 or 3 miles. So here we are back at the beast, and it has been an awesome day, another awesome day at Valley of Fire Park. So we're ending this little trip, but what an amazing experience. All the way from the west side to the east side of the park, and then we found that the old Arrowhead Trail actually goes another 300 miles all the way to Salt Lake City. It's good I caught myself and did not continue on the way I was going, because that's where I was headed. Either to the Overton arm of Lake Mead or onward to Salt Lake City. I think I would have realized my mistake before I got to Salt Lake City. Okay, onward, and that concludes our day today. Old Arrowhead Trail and Elephant Rock Loop. It so happens that we came back out on the Elephant Rock Loop Trail. So here we are. We're going to go around the loop now. Well, it's good I followed my instinct and did not continue down that wash. I would have ended up on the Overton arm of Lake Mead. Instead, I headed across those mountains or hills, and I came out right at the Elephant Rock Loop, believe it or not. So here we're going around the Elephant Rock Loop. Okay, here we are at Elephant Rock. And here it is. It actually does look like an elephant. So there you have it. Elephant Rock on the Elephant Rock Loop. We're behind Elephant Rock, and this is the rock formation at the center of the loop. So we're going to continue around this loop and come out where we went into the loop, and then see if we can find the Arrowhead Trail again. That's going to be quite a challenge. Okay, onward. Okay, now it's starting to make sense. The Elephant Rock Loop is here, and the Arrowhead Trail continues in this direction. We've crossed the road and Scenic Road, and now, wow, I guess it goes all the way to Salt Lake City. It's good I didn't stay on that trail. Who knows what would have happened. Okay, so continuing around the Elephant Rock Loop. Now we're going around the back side of the loop. Here we go. Continuing around the backside of Elephant Rock Loop. Notice how much more confident I am now that I know where I am. But there's nothing like getting lost. You really discover stuff, and there's nothing like finding your destination after you've been lost. So it's been a good day. Okay, this is the backside of Elephant Rock Loop. Loops around this large rock formation. And we're going to come out the other side and see if we can hit the old Arrowhead Trail, because we've got to take that trail all the way back up to our point of origin. Here we go. Okay, continuing on the Elephant Rock Loop. And you can see right at the edge of that red rock there, we need to find the old Arrowhead Trail and then go around the left edge of that red rock between the red rock and the brown mountain border to the park. So once we get down off the Elephant Rock Loop, we're going to make a beeline to our old Arrowhead Trail trailhead, and it's going to be uphill about 900 feet by the time we get to the top of it. So it's going to be a little challenge, but hey, it's all exploration. It's been a lot of fun. Let's do a 360-degree view. Okay, looking down at there's what looks like a parking area down here. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, right down in that area. Parking area, that must be the other side of the loop. And then let's do a 360. So here we have the 360. These are some hills behind the Elephant Rock Loop. And this is the direction we are heading to get back to the beast, our car. We're looking back on the Elephant Rock Loop now. This is the rock system that's at the center of the loop. And here behind the next large system, and you can see where it continues on. And the scenic highway is down in this area behind this little sandy conish mountain in the center. And what we're going to do is, you see the red rock system down in this area. We're going to head around the left side of that. So we're just going to make a beeline for that, head around the left side, and end up where we started today. Okay, onward.